Good Friday morning, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to Gulf Coast Weather Solutions. It's starting to feel like that movie Groundhog Day. It's just every single day, it's the same routine. Rain, and that's exactly what we're seeing once again. We had a really big, heavy downpour move into the Houston Metroplex area. That has now moved into the Woodlands, but you still have lots of moisture streaming in from the Gulf. You can see a line really into parts of Galveston, League City, and another getting into just east of High Island, moving into Chambers County. So you can see lots of deeper moisture continues to pump into our region. So we're going to continue seeing these heavy downpours off and on throughout the morning and into the afternoon hours when that coverage really tops off around at least 50% coverage. Very similar to the last couple of days. You can see you got a little bit of spin over there towards El Paso. That's where a system is. That's going to continue moving off into the southern plains. This is giving us a little bit of energy. We've got the moisture, got this energy. Lots of heavy rainfall is possible today in parts of central Texas. Wouldn't be shocked if we see some flash flooding there in parts of central Texas. But you can see it's pretty active into the southern regions of Texas, and lots of moisture and storms going on to the Gulf. You can see that blob just west of Florida. Wind shear has kept that in check, but that has helped really make this a pretty wet week along the Gulf Coast. We finally start saying goodbye to the deeper moisture by the time we get into Sunday evening, mainly into early next week. But looking at the satellite and radar sponsored by Tamco Helgar Beyond Class 4, you can see we're already getting that moisture pushing into our region. Another active day is ahead of us, pretty much. You can see, you look at all those heavy rain moving into San Antonio, San Marcos, and Austin. Could see some flash flooding in some of those areas later today. We're seeing the current temperatures very warm and muggy down there towards the coast. That is just showing that deeper moisture is coming in. Warm, moist air is coming in. These are going to be some heavy downpours, just like we've seen. Some isolated storms could have 1 to 3 inches of rain, already getting close to the 80-degree mark for Houston down towards the coast. The rest of us are in the upper 60s to low to mid 70s, thanks to our sponsor over there at Neutron Electrical Services. Our outdoor and construction forecast for today, sponsored by Modern Concrete, is very iffy once again, like it has been all week long. We've got the 30% coverage right now. We just showed radar. It's getting active. More of the heat of the day is going to allow us to top off at least to around 50% coverage this afternoon. Again, some of these isolated downpours, 1, 2, 3 inches of rain cannot be ruled out. We've been seeing that kind of off and on really the last couple of days, and we're going to keep doing this today and again on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday as well too. Then we start drying out a little bit. Do Good Credit Union showing all that deep moisture continues to push into our region really the next couple of days. And then you can start seeing by the time we get into Sunday and a little bit of Monday, yes, we still have it, but it is trying to kind of mix out and dry out. We're finally starting to see that moisture really kind of starting to give up. Instead of seeing a large amount of it moving into our region, it's more of just these smaller amounts. So this is going to keep rain chances still alive, but the coverage is a lot lower once we get into early to middle of next week. But this time of year, we continue to keep watching the Gulf, especially down there in Central America. I'll actually zoom out here in a second as we get into, so if you notice, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, I would say coverage is anywhere from 20 to 30% at best. But what we will be watching is as we zoom out a little bit, you can see over here in Central America, this is that Central America gyra, this can sling more moisture into the Gulf as we get to the end of next week. So next weekend, we will see if we start getting wet once again with that deep moisture moving back into our region. But today we've got that moisture pushing in, the heat of the day. This allows for a pretty active morning. You can see by 10 o'clock continues to be active parts of Houston, Woodlands, and possibly even to the Triangle area. But as we get into the afternoon, this is when we see the coverage continue to pick up. You get these outflow boundaries, rain-cooled air pushing away from it, so it just allows the coverage to pick up. We're expecting another day of at least 50% coverage, and then once we get this evening, we'll still see, some isolated showers, but you see the overall coverage does die down in the evening to nighttime hours. But once we get into Saturday, a lot of people are wanting to go to the lakes, go fishing, go out towards the beach, just showing another active day as expected. By the time we get into Saturday late morning, we'll start seeing this pick up, and then we get more of the heat of the day. Coverage really starts picking up Saturday afternoon into early Saturday evening. So another active day. You could go 50 to 60% coverage on Saturday, thanks to our sponsor of Tamco Helgard Beyond Class 4 has given us somewhat of an outlook what to expect this weekend. So another active day today, another active day tomorrow on Saturday. Still have the lingering moisture on Sunday, could give us somewhat of an active day. And then you start noticing, we start seeing the coverage drop down just a little bit as that moisture starts pushing out, thanks to Do Good Credit Union. One thing we'll see next week less cloud cover, less rain. Those temperatures are going to start getting more into the low 90s. Maybe some areas get into the mid 90s. How much rain are we really talking? I don't think this really shows it very well, but now until Monday, and this actually goes until Wednesday, it's these isolated pockets that we'll see the potential like we've seen the last couple of days. 1, 2, 3 inches of rain is possible for these isolated areas. Widespread, about a half an inch to an inch does seem possible now through at least Sunday evening. It's those isolated areas that can get pretty heavy. Afternoon highs today going to get into the middle to upper 80s. We have a little less cloud cover versus the last couple of days, so we will get slightly warmer. Thanks to our sponsor of Silsby Ford, we're still expecting a pretty active day with at least 50% coverage. And then overnight tonight, you can see an isolated downpour still, but the coverage does die down. Temperatures mainly into the low 70s north of the I-10 corridor, but the rest of us along I-10 down, you are in the mid 70s to pretty much staying into the upper 70s near 80 tonight. We stay warm and muggy. Here's our 7-day forecast for Southeast Texas. The most of the rain is going to be today and through the weekend, and then we start drying out a little bit once we get into next week. We see that deeper moisture kind of start thinning out, but warmer temperatures are upon us. As we get into the end of the week and next weekend, we'll see if any more moisture pushes into the Gulf to give us more of a wetter forecast next weekend. But right now, the rain is today through the weekend, and then we start drying out a little bit next week. Same thing for Southwest Louisiana. Pretty active day today and especially on Saturday. And then we start drying out a little bit once we get into next week, and those temperatures do start staying more into the upper 80s to near the low 90s. Have a good Friday. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the Friday morning show. We're going to have more posts throughout the day, really doing the radar updates, but we'll continue to keep following along what's going on. But if you haven't yet, please go download the free Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. It will keep you updated 24/7 around the clock, and then you can pull out the handy-dandy radar and check and see where your location is and where those storms are. So y'all have a great Friday. Thanks again for tuning in. See y'all tomorrow morning on the Saturday morning show. Stay dry and stay cool if you can.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions is sponsored by
At Gulf Coast Weather Solutions, we focus on delivering reliable weather forecasts. Our new app provides reliable weather updates and alerts no matter where you are. With real-time weather alerts and warnings, you can stay informed and prepared wherever you go. Download the Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app today on the App Store and Google Play and stay connected no matter where you are.